Alright. Hi everybody, how's it going? Give me a sec here. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're live. I am streaming. Here we go. Alright, so tonight we're going to be doing some devlog for TetraForce. So anyone who is new to TetraForce or coming into this has no idea what's going on. TetraForce is an action RPG that we've been working on now since really since last August, I guess, July, August. Tonight we're just going to be focusing on doing a to-do list of some of the things to finish up what I would consider in scope for our demo. So let me pull up here. I guess I should have done that. There we go. So it's basically just going to be kind of open night. I'm actually going to bring in Joseph B, who's our multiplayer specialist here, just to have a bit of a chat with. So if he's ready, I'll bring him in. Hey, Joseph B, you want to pop into the call there? I have too many windows open. I'm not used to having this much multitasking. So, I also...
Hello, can you hear me? Is my background noise?
There you go. No, it's...
You're muted on Discord, by the way.
I'm muted on... Oh, I'm muted on Discord. Okay, 1 second here. There, can you hear me through Discord now?
Yes, I can hear you through Discord. Hello.
Okay. And not
Hello.
through YouTube? Like,
Yeah.
echoing?
Yeah, I muted you too. There's a little bit of delay there.
Alright, and hopefully I sound good. Anyone listening there, do I sound okay? Can everyone hear everyone okay? I don't actually accidentally have everybody muted or unmuted. Can you hear Joseph B? I think I've got your...
One second, let me try.
I can turn down the music a little bit more too. I don't know how quiet it is on everyone else's end. I was trying to have it as quiet as possible so everyone can still hear everyone talking. But it is a little bit distracting for me.
Okay, is that better?
There you go. Everything is working. That's exciting. Okay. Let me grab my notes here. All right. First off, how are you, Joseph?
I'm doing pretty good. Work's done for the week.
That's exciting.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, right? You never really know. Do you, yeah. You usually don't have to work overtime on the weekends or anything, hey?
No,
That's
no.
good. That's good. All right, well, I guess, without further ado, should we, start looking at some TetraForce stuff?
Yeah, you got a little fancy, like...
Yeah, yeah. So, like, it's like this endless, oops. It's like an endless artboard thing. So, but I made it look really cool because I used a green screen. So it looks like it's infinite.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Super fancy.
It's super fancy. I was pretty excited to try this out tonight because, like, it's a perfect way to brainstorm things. So...
Does it look like that to you, or is it
No,
like
no.
a big
Here,
green?
I'll pull back the curtain here for just a sec. So it looks like this to me. So I can see all my tools and everything like that, and it's just a solid background. So, but to all y'all, well, it looks like that. Oops.
I was thinking like an ugly green screen green, you know?
No, I could pick the color, so it was like not awful for me to look at also. So. All right, so is the music okay? I hope it's a little bit distracting for me, so hopefully it's all good for you guys. I just wanted a little bit of background, just in case I didn't know if you were going to be in the voice call or not, so it's awesome that you are.
Yeah,
So.
If you need me, I'm here.
All right. Mostly just to bounce ideas off of. So I was going to break down the list. I have to look in the camera if I'm looking in the direction. I was gonna break down the list by two categories mostly, like main systems, like some of the bigger, meatier stuff that we have left, and some of the smaller things. So let's actually break that down on here then. Let's start writing some of this out. So I can make a nice straight line there.
Oh,
Ooh, fancy. So main.
hi, Dave.
Of course, my writing is atrocious, so I'll try and write slower. Ah! Systems. And then, like, objects. Sure. You all can read my doctor's writing, right? Hi, David J. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I actually was really excited to talk to you about more than anything was, like, saving. So we'll start breaking these down after I've listed them. So saving, which is something that, as we talked about, isn't necessarily important for the demo, but I think it's a super important system to have.
Yeah, for designing.
Yeah.
other systems
And what
them up.
kind of goes in tandem with that, something we still don't have, is like at the beginning of the game, when you start a single player game or multiplayer game, you want like a character loading screen. I have to get used to how this writes. Loading. It's not the same as Photoshop.
The character loading screen.
Yes.
Elaborate the thoughts a little more there.
So yeah, so like obviously when a game is saved, you want to be able to load the saved game. So like those kind of go in
Game
tandem.
loading screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you already did. Yeah, sorry. I know.
Game loading screen.
You already have the actual loading screen when we're connecting the server, which is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, it's your art.
Well, the functionality is the important part. I should have wrote character selection screen. That's what I should have wrote, I guess. And then one other thing that Fornclake wanted was a store, so we actually have somewhere to spend the money.
Is that gonna be a like in-game NPC?
Yeah.
Or...
The idea with the store is it's just going to be, or even like, I don't know if we're going to do it quite like how Link's Awakening does it, where there's items on the counter, and you can like just go up to the item and, or like I guess like a lot of the Zelda games, you just go up to the item and click it, and then they say, do you want to buy it? And you say yes, and then it's added to your inventory or whatever. It would probably be something like that, because that's pretty simple to do, rather than actually going up to an NPC and having a list come down or whatever.
Yeah, immediately as a programmer, my thing is, oh, we want to have a big GUI pop up, and we want to have tables of items.
Which maybe at some point that makes a lot of sense, but I think for the demo, we'll keep it.
Well, I think even for the demo, I think that's a much better system for this type of game.
Yeah, because like there isn't a crazy amount of items. It's not like a full scale RPG, right? Where you would like just scroll through endless amount of items.
Well, even if it was a full size RPG, it's a lot cooler to go into a store with a bunch of items on the shelves.
Yeah, and actually like you're like perusing and looking at the shelves. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be way more.
Yeah.
Way more.
So that's another very main system. The other.
David says I'm kind of low. You mean my volume, not my voice, right? I can't do anything about my voice.
Here, you know what it is. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna kill that. I'm gonna axe the music, and
yeah, I'm guessing you're filtering me out with the
yes. I sure am. Thank you for bringing that up, because I it's hard to test that stuff once. I tested the volume of the music, which was low before, but of course now Joseph's voice is gonna be low. And killing the music helps too, and it's less distracting. To that. Okay, so one other thing on the main systems was options, which again, oops, I hate when it does it. So I don't understand why it does that. See how I just did that? That's weird. There we go. It seems to have some kind of weird thing with my tablet where it like keeps drawing even when I'm not actually drawing.
Nice.
I think that's just a driver problem on my part. Oh, right, I got distracted. So, oh, wow.
So something options?
Yeah, so like, just like I don't know why it's drawn. Look how huge it is now. It went and like really didn't like that. Oh, something got messed up on my settings. Hold on here. Good enough.
I don't know.
Options. So that was what that basically was like if you hit select or whatever, there's an option menu that pops up. So like volume, maybe the window mode, maybe. I don't even think that necessarily. Okay. And then PvP. That was the other thing, the other big one that I wanted to be able to turn on and off. So a pretty simple menu. Mostly, again, just so it's there. Obviously, like, you can even have, like, exit game and stuff, too. Or exit.
Yeah, we do have an option screen right now where you can change, your skin and stuff.
Yeah, but that's, like,
That's
like pre-entry into the game. So, like, this would be an inner game menu or whatever.
Okay.
Is what I'd like. Because you'd want to be able to save and exit, right? Somehow?
Yeah.
So...
I'm thinking, honestly, this could be a shared node that could be accessible in-game or out of game.
That's true. Yeah, really, there wouldn't be much difference.
Disable, just we delete the save button if you're on the main menu.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So...
Just for reusability, and then,
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I think that'd make a lot of sense.
I mean, this is just, like, really... I'm like, giving, like, here's how I would implement...
No, that...
Jot down.
That's why I wanted a second voice, because it's actually really good to be able to bounce those ideas off and everything. So, and then I think was there? Oh, and then the other one that's kind of big change is enemy doors.
Okay.
And the only reason that's in this list rather than my other list is because I have to change how zones are handled. So that's a little bit bigger. Now,
okay. My AC just kicked on. And sound bad?
You're actually not as bad as you normally are. As I said, you're gonna. I'll make you go in your closet.
I do have a pretty soundproof closet. I mean, I actually here. You know what? I'll just turn off the.
There you go. You'll just have to cook for a while. I'm not gonna go crazy tonight. Like I don't know how long we'll stream. If it's like an hour, I'll be happy. Honestly, so. We'll see how it goes. Okay, and then there's going to be like kind of a subcategory here. Now, the objects category is mostly just a lot of the smaller objects and stuff that need to be implemented. There's a few other things that are kind of like sub.
Can you elaborate a little bit on enemy doors? Sorry. Like, I'm guessing the doors somehow associated with enemies.
Oh, you want to elaborate more on the enemy doors?
Yeah,
Okay, so the way it works right now, so because this is multiplayer, one of the issues that we had, unlike the way we would have originally planned it, is so as if you enter a room and there's like enemies, can I draw it like skulls? And they're already in the room. And the door's shut behind you. If there's like a player out here and you're in here, the door would shut as soon as you enter the room. So if that would basically be counterintuitive to multiplayer. So what we had to do was, or what we decided to do as a solution was have a statue basically that you would activate. And so all the players could filter into the room.
Okay.
And then you would turn on the switch, and then the monsters would spawn after the room was turned on. So, and then that way, once the enemies are defeated again, of course the doors open back up. So, the problem is as zones are right now, and what zones are basically the rooms. So we have like meta boxes that contain that room. It doesn't know how many enemies is within that container. We never implemented any kind of system that actually counts the enemy entities in that room, or even the players for that matter. What TetraScript and what Joseph was working on actually does that. The zones actually keep track of all that stuff now, and the demo doesn't. So I actually have a lot of the code if I look at TetraScript, but I almost have to like reverse opt in that text, or it's not text, the script or whatever. So, but that's a pretty big thing for me. I'm not familiar with that, so I don't know if that's something that you and I can look together, and look at TetraScript versus what's there, and you can help me identify what we need to do. Um,
I mean, that's definitely something we can do in the demo project.
yeah.
And I think that's a much better design.
Yeah. So that's the code is already there. I just need to basically take it from TetraScript and re-implement it for the demo as well, because it needs to be there for the demo.
Though I will say that you might want to keep in the other door system as well, because that could be some fun things where you go in expecting a statue and then boom, you're locked in and you have to do a challenge by yourself.
True, yeah. I do see potential for that as well, you're right. I was just in this particular case for the first dungeon wanted to get this system working. So, but you're right. I definitely see that being as both options.
Like it's the enemy door systems are.
Sorry.
Like the non-basic statue one where one player gets locked. I'm just saying, like, we don't have to code over that.
I could almost see it like, so if a player gets trapped in this room and you need like a multiplayer person to like someone else to go find a switch somewhere else to actually open up the door again and stuff like that. So like it's almost like a trap for that player. Like obviously you would need to know that it's multiplayer and that there's another person there. Otherwise you just soft lock the game. You're doomed forever. There is no escape.
Yeah, it'll like put a pop up and say, "Hey, call a friend."
Yeah, exactly. Until someone joins the server, you've been locked. So yeah, but I think it'd be pretty cool if there was traps like that and this sort of thing too. There's lots of different mechanics that we could do that would be pretty fun. So anyways, that's what Enemy Doors basically is we just need to get this system working because there's nothing there right now for that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big one. As I said, mostly because I'm just inexperienced. I don't think it's actually a really hard to implement. Because my GD script, I was going to say TetraScript, GD script experience still isn't quite there. So now into the kind of like the smaller objects. These are pretty easy, and most of these are the ones that I can actually, well, shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them I already kind of have my head wrapped around how I want to add them. So there's like drowning or falling into the water, which is basically
for like the deeper water on the beach.
Precisely, yeah, exactly. And even like in the dungeon and stuff like that, there's some water. Basically, it's gonna be the same as falling in a hole, just with a different animation. Like that's really the same thing. So that's what I mean. Like these are things that are already kind of there that I can quite easily implement myself. And then there's the floating barrel puzzles.
Okay.
See, it's not lagging now. I can actually write a little bit nicer because it's actually following my writing. So the floating barrel puzzles. I wish I should have opened up. Hold on here. Let's close that. Because if I actually have the map open, I can kind of show you. So dungeon 1. So so these are the floating barrel puzzles. Let me get my YouTube back open on the side here. So the floating barrel puzzles are pretty easy. Like you just push them into the water and it basically opens up that path, and you just have to find out which way you need to push everything to actually solve the puzzle.
Okay.
So I kind of have my head wrapped around this. As far as like the animation goes, it's basically just going to replace this tile, which the only challenge with that is this is considered a tile map because it's animated water, and this is just like a kinematic body 2D. Yeah. So it would have to basically remove the tile map and replace it with the kinematic body 2D without messing up the animation. Like I don't want it to look like it closed off the water or whatever.
Yeah, so what you could do there is either just have like a null tile map object, like a tile, or delete it. I'm not sure if it's gonna take up that entire space. You can just set it to null and just have an empty tile space there.
Yeah, that's essentially the idea, kind of. Yeah.
And spawn your item there.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could create like a object, a tile that has the same sprite, but doesn't have any functionality.
Yeah, which is I think that's kind of in my head. That's how it's gonna look like it's something, but in reality, it's basically just like the same as a floor, right? Like it's basically an animated floor piece, like a flower or whatever. Like it'll actually end up being nothing. It just looks like it's a barrel floating on water.
Okay, yeah.
So it's almost
Yeah,
like a trickery.
Yeah, I think you could probably literally just make a flower that looks like a barrel and put that there.
Yeah, yeah. The biggest trick is just getting rid of the tile map so that collision goes away. So I have to kind of think about that. But otherwise, that's not too bad.
That actually should be really easy because if you do the tile map and you set a cell to null, it actually won't update any of the other tiles around it with their like bitmaps. It won't
Yeah.
do that automatically. So it should be just as simple as delete this tile, put in this thing here.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I'm hoping it is for sure. Yeah, as long as it doesn't do the tile map update, because like when you cut the grass, it updates the tile map. It like corrects it. So we have to make sure it doesn't actually do that for the water. So, but that should work theoretically. That should be just fine.
It depends. It really. I think the biggest hookup there is whatever the network code is implemented. If by default it doesn't update the bitmask, then it'll work exactly how you want.
Yeah.
Right up.
Yeah, you're right. I should see. I don't actually know if it'll automatically update it. I don't know if it will because the grass is coded separately from that. I think.
Yeah, it probably won't.
So.
The default behavior. But,
yeah. And so the next thing on my list, I actually did today. I had smashing pots on my list here, and I put that in today. So I don't even need to do that.
It's a cool GIF.
Thank you.
Is that GIF on social media?
I didn't post it on Twitter yet. I was going to do it for Screenshot Saturday tomorrow, so it'll be anyone who's watching right now. If you'll see it on Twitter tomorrow. So. But yeah, I'm going to clean it up, the animation a little bit too, because the sword goes over top of the pot right now, and I think it'll look a little bit nicer if it actually goes underneath the pot. It'll look like it's kind of going into the pot. And someone made a comment that it looks like it's got a bit of a lag, and it's because I have one too many frames at the beginning of the animation. So I'll clean that up for a Screenshot Saturday. I hope. So it was weird to me because the Z index wasn't actually working properly. I put the pot with a higher Z index than the sword, but the pot is still being put underneath. And is
the pot an entity?
Yeah, it's a static body 2D.
I think I might know what it is. There's a little check mark in the Z index for relativity, and that means that it's that whatever that index is plus the Z index.
Okay, let's actually take a quick look. I have it right here. So. There's too many things in my list. See, this is one of the things that I don't like about the demo is that it's not organized anymore at all. So yeah, so Z index, Z is relative. Is that supposed to be checked on or off?
Well, that just means that how you're doing Z index calculations different. So that means it's not absolute. So that means that the Z index of the sword is modified by the Z index of the parent. So if the Z index of parent is like 5, the Z index of the sword is 1, the Z index of the sword is actually 6.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. I just realized I wasn't actually streaming it. I think we're streaming it now.
Yep. If I can confirm.
So let's see now. Oh, it's still over top.
Yeah, you can for testing purposes just set it to something extreme.
Yeah, okay. So let's set to 50 because I know nothing is close to that. I think the highest we go is 5. Let's try that. Hopefully, the game music isn't too loud.
And you probably do want relative check, so because then you get Y sort. Because I believe Z is relative to part Y sort.
Okay, so it's still not working. Oh, okay, no, that's normal.
Try 1,000.
Okay.
Keep going bigger.
Go big. Go big or go home. I know this isn't to-do list, but it's real. Oh, there, that worked.
Yeah. It's all, see all that the relative position stuff makes everything compound. So like I said, make sure Z's relative is on. You want that.
Oh, you want that on? So here,
you want that for any tile-based stuff, because if that's not checked, then it doesn't do any Y sort.
Oh, I see. I see.
At least I don't believe.
Okay, now the real question is, does that actually look better, or does that look more weird? What do you think? I should just be leaving and coming back. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Hey, chat, you want to be part of game development?
Yeah, hey, anyone watching, watch me break pots and decide whether or not is the sword actually better underneath. Okay, so that's underneath. Let me do it one more time, just so.
No, I'll be honest. I think it looks better underneath if you're above it, but better above if you're below it.
Yeah, and that was one of the comments that somebody made, and I can't actually do that.
Well, it's Y sword. So if you get the perfect number, you can. Presuming it's getting there's Y sword logic. So I believe there is.
Okay, well I'll play with that.
Yeah.
I also made the sound effect for that today, and I was actually pretty happy with it. It sounds not bad. Yeah, you can do it with Y sorting, but because we use tiled, Y sorting doesn't actually work properly. You can sort of cheat it, but the way we've done it, it's not great. That's something we have to take into account with the actual TetraScript version.
I can always make a hacky solution. I don't like hacky solutions, but I can always, like...
For the demo?
On Ready, I could, you know, do some math to the index.
Okay. Yeah, we could try something like that. I mean, it's not critical, but it would be fun to kind of be able to have that. Yeah, the tiled import does weird things with Y sort.
Yeah, I think for now keep it above, because if you're below the pot and you swing and it goes beneath the pot,
yeah,
it'll kind of look a lot more goofy than swing it and it's above the top of the pot.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what the comment was in Discord as well. Is that it would look better if you're looking up at the pot that you're over top of it. That makes the most sense, and but I'll refine that a little bit more. So, all right. So that's that. That was my one of mine on the list, but we're almost there. So that's cool. Then there was the red cannons. Where's my tab pen there? Red cannons. So I got the blue cannons working, but the red cannons are a little bit. This is almost a bigger thing. So let me go back to it here.